Today we are going to see file listener, okay, and let's first understand that in what kind of a scenario do we use file listener, because this is also an integration, okay. The way we integrate the data to take the data, okay, using SOAP service, REST service. So this is also another protocol or another method to integrate with other system, okay. Other system or like I should say like with the data, right? So when we integrate with REST, right, the other system give us the data, okay. Maybe they have their own applications, but in file listener we don't have any other applications, but the data can be generated from the other application, or it can have a, like that other system can also have a their own application, but from that applications they will generate a file, okay, and that file can be posted to Pega, okay. And it's not necessary that it will be posted, like it will be generated from the other system, okay. So the file can be generated from anywhere. It can be Pega or it can be from any application, okay. And then what we do, basically we will get a file, okay, and then we will try to process that file in Pega, okay. So at least we clear that for what purpose we use file listener. So simple purpose is that if file is there, we just need to take the file and process it. Now what we will do, what processing will do, like there are like n number of scenarios, okay. So we are going to talk one or two, okay, but at least we got that what is the usage of file listener.
Can you explain one second?
Yeah, so let's say we have a simple file, okay, simple file, okay, which is let's say you want to create an operator, simple, okay. And you have so let's say this Pega system is coming up newly, okay. So like your application started building a fresh application, fresh Pega application, okay, and that application is used by let's say 1500 employee, okay. Now that 1500 employee, you need to create the operator ID for 1500 employee, right? So what all options do you have? Can you please tell that? Let's say now you have to create a 1500 employee. What all options do you have? Like let's say you are the lead. How you'll create that 1500 employee in Pega?
By using properties.
By using properties. Anyone? So you have to create 1500 employee, let's say, okay, even like leave about a lead, you are a junior resource. If your lead asks that, okay, can you create 1500 employee means operator ID in Pega, how you will do that?
So by using organization, we can create the operator.
Yeah, so simple, so Yakub, simple say that we can use create operator functionality, like basically you can either save as or you can create the operator. Simply say create operator, I can create manually, right? But if you create manually 1500, it will take a lot of time, right? Because creating a 1500 operator is like a huge, okay. Who will spend that much time? So then what all options do we have, okay? So the options is we can automate that part, okay. And how we can automate? Let's say that you create a CSV file, okay, and that CSV file you didn't create it basically, okay. That employee ID is already there in another system, okay, because in an organizations we have like we have a system which holds all the employee details, right? So you extracted that 1500 employee ID. So basically you went to that database or that applications and you put some query and then you got a 1500 employee details. So now that CSV file is holding that employee ID, employee name, first name, last name, email, something like that, okay. Now you need to create an operator ID, okay, with that data, okay. So what we can do in Pega, we can simply read that and create automatically that 1500 employee ID. So what we will be doing here, we will save the time, right? We will save lot of time, okay, in creating the operator ID. So in these kind of things we can use file listener. So this is one scenario. Another scenario is that let's say your case is sitting in some work basket, okay, and expecting some data from external system, okay. So then you'll get the data and you'll process the data, okay. So that is another example, okay. Like there are many examples. So basically taking that file data, okay, and doing something in Pega, be it's creating a case. You can create a new fresh case as well. That let's say that there is a system. In that system, in the entire day they do some, they take the request, okay, they take the request, and in end of the day they'll like create each row for each request, and then they'll send that file to Pega, and Pega will read that and create a case for each and every request, okay, or each and every complaint. So there are like many scenario where we can use file lister. Now did we got it?
Yes, sir.
What about others? Srinivas? Okay, so first let's see that in which category we'll see the file listener, okay, where we'll see that. So as I mentioned that file listener is also an integration component, okay, so we will find it under file listener. So file listener is there under resources. So this is the file listener, okay. So file listener is what, okay, as name suggests, it will listen the folder, okay, listen the file, okay, basically it will listen the file or it will listen the folder. So while configuring we need to give a folder that this is the folder which you can listen, okay. But before creating, so let's see that, okay, if I'm creating a, let's say as I name, right, bulk upload operator, let's say I'm creating, so this is a common functionality, we need to create bulk operator, right, as I explained that if you are creating a new applications you have to create 1500 operator ID. So this is kind of very common scenario which most of the applications uses that, okay. So let's create a bulk operator load, something like that, anything you can do. So file listener, as I'm saying, right, it's a very common functionality which most of the applications uses, but mostly like every applications can have a different thing. Let's say that you want to notify to 100k people, okay, or 1 lakh people. So then like what kind of notifications you have to send, what value in the notifications, that you can get it in the file, and then you can send it, okay. Let's say the monthly you need to notify that your statement is generated, simple email we get it, right. So now if you want to send it through Pega, I mean ideally we should not do that because Pega is still costly sending a notification, but just I'm saying if you just want to send a notification, and so that other system will give you that record, okay, that email ID, okay, and what message you need to send, okay, in a CSV file, and then you can process. Here I'm saying CSV file, but you can use any different type of file, but CSV is little easy to process. I'll show you. So just bulk operator load, okay, I'll say bulk operator load. So this is just I'm giving a name, you can give any name, okay, depending on your functionality. So let's see that the moment I'm creating a file listener, what all things it is expecting. So the first thing, it is expecting a file location, source location. Now here I'll be giving the folder, okay, folder from where I have installed that, okay, like some folder I'll give it. So here I have installed my in C drive, I think I have installed personal edition. So here I'll create a folder, okay, bulk operator, okay, something like that, bulk operator, I'll create the folder, fine. Now what I'll do, I'll get the path and I use it, okay. So these things will work when we are in a JVM world, okay, or like when we have the file system, okay. But the problem is, okay, when we are in a cloud mode, or when we are installing our applications as a like what should I say, in containerizations model, this file locations won't exist, okay. So then you may need to use S3 or any other repository, okay. So I'm just showing the POC with this one, source locations, but it's not necessary that in your applications, okay, it can be used like this, okay. But in the newer applications, okay, people are using a repository, it can be S3 or it can be NAS folder, like NAS will also not work with the file system, but yeah, like whatever the repository we have available, okay, or it is linked with your applications, that you can use it. So mask name, so basically it is saying, okay, you are using this folder, but what type of file you want to consume. So basically we can give extension here that I just like this folder can have a many type of file. Let's say that other applications is dropping file in this one, okay, automatically, and they are dropping different kind of file, but you just want to process this one, so then you can give extension, okay. But here I'll be just giving a star. Star means process all type of file. So if you see here, you can read these things. Okay, if you want to spend some time. Okay, if you don't want, creating a file listener. Let's see here. Masking. Source mask name. Okay, see, so star or a star I'll give, like so that means it will process enter the filter processing for file to process from the source directory. You can use asterisk as a wildcard. You can include only one asterisk in the root of the mask. Okay, if you do not specify a mask or use this one, the file listener selects every file in the source locations, as I'm saying, right? So I'll just give a star for now. That means whatever the file it is coming from the folder, let's process it. Now here it is asking for a package, so I have already created a package. So you know, in last classes I told, for every service, whatever the service we create, we need to create a package. Okay, and in Java, package is like a folder, and in this folder, obviously in Pega it's not a folder, but it's like a kind of a folder. In this folder we can create multiple services. Okay, so Qtm I have just created a package. It's not necessary that you need to create with organization's name. You can create with depending on functionality. Basically we group the functionality in service package. Okay, now here class, I can give customer class, you can give anything. Okay, so I'm just giving customer class. Service method, okay, so I have already created, but I'll not use that. Okay, I'll create another one. Okay, just now, okay, in front of you guys, I'll create another service package. Okay, service method. So basically see, the job of this listener is just to listen the file. Okay, let me know if you'll not get it. So this rule job is just to listen and then execute this service file. Okay, and then next work, okay, that what I want to do with that file. Okay, that is the job of service file. Getting it? Hello?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, so the job of file listener is just to listen that. Okay, rest everything will be done by that service file. So let's create a service file. So what so we need to create a service file. So we'll go to where we'll see the service file. So service file we will see inside this one, integration services. So we'll go here and we'll say create. So now we'll give, so we can give the similar name. Okay, bulk operator or whatever you want, bulk operator load. So I'll give the same name. And then package, here again I have to give Qtm. Customer class you can give anything for, but for now I'm just giving customer class only. It's not mandatory, like it will not validate anything. So you can give bulk operator load also, anything you can give. So let me but if I'll give bulk operator, everything will be bulk operator. Okay, or just I'll say bulk operator instead of load. So anything you can give. Now let's create that. Okay, let's try to save it. So before saving, it is asking that which class. Okay, primary page class. So this is very similar to the way we create a service, REST service or SOAP service. So here it is asking the class the moment we get the data. Okay, on which class you want to process this one. So as I'm creating for a bulk operator load, so I'll give a data admin operator ID. I can give anything, work class also, and from there also I can take the data and then create the operator ID and do anything. Okay, but for now I'm just giving data admin operator ID. So these things, these logics will be your own. Okay, I'm just showing the one example. Okay, that doesn't mean that you have to apply the same. I mean, the creations concept will be the same, but it's not that you just need to replicate. But most of the time you need to do similar way. Okay, class can be different, but it will be very similar. Okay, so I just gave that one. Okay, now data admin operator is not defined. Let me save it. Okay, so still it is asking some more detail is required. So I'll go to request. So here it is asking. I'll explain that. Okay, here I'll say that delimited parse rule. Okay, and I'll create that parse rule as well. I'll show you. Okay, so let's see that what is this parse rule. Okay, so parse rule is basically we will get the data, or let me create that. When I'll show, I'll explain that. Let me just create that for now, and I'll say map to clipboard. Anyone know this parse rule?
Converting from XML to clipboard.
Yes, kind of. We are parsing. Yes, like and we can define the parsing rule, like how we want to parse, how we want to break that. Device identifier. Okay, and so I'll add few more in this one. Okay, I'll explain it. Don't worry. Let me just create clipboard, and then here I'll just give first name. So I'll not add more. I'll just simply do it like this. Now this rule is ready, so we can select here. So if I'll go bulk operator load, that is one. Okay, electivity is not mandatory for now. Terminator I'll explain these things, don't worry. Okay, so it got saved. Now come to file listener. So here we will just refresh once, save, that will get it. Okay, bulk operator. So you can see that I'm selecting the service package, then I'm selecting the service class. It is automatically coming one by one. It's like a dynamic select or cascading select and bulk operator. Now save it. Okay, what error we are getting? Okay, so we are getting error is that, like, not error, basically warning that these details should come from that data page, and that is fine. It makes sense. Okay, so we created the file listener. So let's revisit that, what all things we gave. So we gave the source folder, okay, from where the file this rule will listen the file, what type of file. For now we are saying everything, and then after listening the file, process with this rule. Okay, so the once the file will get, like, it will process, will listen that file. Okay, it will execute this one, okay, and do the job for one file. Okay, so we'll go inside that one. What is the requester login is? Requester is login is, you will process through which context. Okay, so it's like operator ID I have given, admin, and then a password is, obviously it will be you need to give the use one, but for now I'll just give the rules, whatever the password I have. So this you can give anything, okay, like any operator. So basically we're trying to process in a context of this operator instead of doing it without any authorization. So it's like a kind of a basic authentication for this one file listener. In diagnostic we can give remote host, port host. Okay, we don't have to worry for now. Okay, so in this one I have covered everything. If I'll do a test connectivity, basically it will check that this listener can listen or it has a connectivity with this folder or not successfully. So let me do a test connectivity. So you can see that this is the source location and we got that successful, correct. Okay, so this is how we do the testing for the service or any other thing. So it's a similar way. Okay, so our connectivity is fine. Now if you want to create but you want to block, you can just check this checkbox. Block means you don't want to start. Okay, so you can check these options, but we want to check, so we don't want to block for now. Sometimes what happens, it's a data instance, right, and it doesn't need any rule set version to do any changes. So in productions we do that. If required, we can simply go and save it. Okay, so it will not run that. Okay, it happens sometimes that we don't want to run. Okay, so Pega has given that option. Now startup option, so you want to run on all nodes, you want to run on a particular node, or you want to run on a host based startup. So you can see that. Okay, or node classification startup, so you can give a node id, node type also, that which type of node you want to run, background or other things. I had explained this in the past. Okay, so for now we will just say that run on all nodes. Okay, because we are in a personal edition, so it doesn't matter. Okay, but if we are in a real-time projects, maybe you need to consider that where you want to run. Okay, if you are running on all nodes, okay, will it create problem, contention issue or something like that? So those things you need to check. Okay, but for now I'm just selecting run on all nodes. Next thing is in processing tab. Okay, the pulling interval time, like after how much time it will pull the next one. So here we have given 60 seconds, but depending on your functionality you can do that. Okay, lock listener temporary file. Okay, this is listeners will lock or not. Okay, process empty file. So this kind of a things is there. Okay, so you can just read and see that. Ignore duplicate file name. So if the file name is coming duplicate, you can ignore that. Next thing is the reporting. So once it will process that, we will see a reporting file. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so Pega will create that, and then it will put that log, and then ideal processing. Okay, I need to see ideal processing what we do, and then this we can see that maybe we can if it is idle, we can do, I need to see, okay, something, this I haven't used, okay, maybe you can read, okay, or we can also read, like, I don't know what is this idle processing. Fine, let's move it. That's not much important. Okay, we can ignore for now. And then finally, after processing, you want to delete that file or you want to keep. Okay. So for now, we are simply saying delete, but you can keep as well. So on a general, so I have explained all the important attributes of this listener. Any questions on any attribute?
So service package after service class, whatever the service file we gave, that is the name. What is the service method? What is difference between service class and service method? I didn't understand these two.
I'll go Deepti. So let's ignore for now this one. Any questions on this one, other than this one, because we have a separate, like, now we'll jump to that one only. So I'll talk about that one. Leave about this one. Other than that, any confusion here on any other attribute?
So request and login is compulsory.
Yeah. I think it was not earlier, but when I was trying, okay, it is giving me error. Let me see. Earlier it was not mandatory. Yeah, not mandatory. See, I removed it. Pega adds that, but you can ignore that as well. But you can, if you want to do that, you can do it. Sometimes it is, if you do that in this way, like, we can trace that session also. Okay, if you want to trace that listener, obviously you can trace the service file. I will go there. Okay, okay. So it's not mandatory. In short.
Okay. So what is the service name mask star means it will process the all files?
Yeah, whatever with the file you're dropping in this folder, it will process everything. So be it's .xl, be it's .x, anything it will process.
Oh, if I have two folders in the same path, okay.
No, you need to give a folder name only. You cannot, you need to give some folder name. So it will not process the folder, it will process the file, right? So inside that, if I'll create a folder, it won't process that folder, it will just process the file. Got it? Yeah. Now, okay, so as you're asking, so the service package,
Sir,
if you,
one thing.
yeah, go ahead, Pawan.
Sir, if we not give the requested details, then on which context it will run?
Then it will run in the background, I think. Okay, so then you'll not be able to catch or anything and do anything. Okay, so that's the problem. So sometimes we give, if you want to trace, okay, then it will run without context, kind of what should I say, no authentication. Like in service package, if I'll open service package, we have an options, right, that run without authentication. Let me open any service pack, this service package only, service package. So it will run without authentication. So here you can see the require authentications, right? We uncheck that, it will run. I think I need to see, I think anonymous it will run or something. Okay, if you're not giving authentications, that will run in a context or maybe background. I need to check. Okay, but basically it doesn't need it will run in a context. I need to see, but it will not obviously run with any operator ID. Getting it?
Yeah, sir, because I was analyzing logs of my Pega security logs of my project. So whenever there was the file listener was running, so entry was being created there. So and it was some dummy operator ID.
Yeah. So dummy operator ID, if you could be, I don't know, I need to check, but ideally I would say it's a recommended to use this one, because if you use this one and then in service package also you have marked this require authentications. If I'll mark this require authentications, and in service package, okay, in listener, if I'll not give, then it might throw error also. Getting it? Otherwise in service package I need to come and select require authentications uncheck, means no authentications required. But in service package, because the service package is the gate, right, it's like this is the front gate, and then inside that, once you go, then it will process that. So room is like, you can say, service file. Okay, so if you are saying require authentications check, and in that inside one, if you are not giving, then it will make throw error. So if you ask me, it is recommended, and like we can create one. So usually in productions we create system OPR or something. Okay, something we just create, or like automated one operator ID, and we just give that. Okay, or admin, whatever you feel. Okay, so it's better to give that. And because as you were saying, right, if you will not give, it will just unnecessary throw exceptions in security file as well.
Yeah, correct.
Any other things? And maybe I'll also read that in which context, because it has been a long time when I have used service file actually, because like as I'm saying right nowadays, because of this cloud and other things, we are avoiding, because we like because you need to go for that S3 or some repository, okay, but we should learn it, okay. And uh, one more thing, the good thing with this service file is that even without file listener you can run it. I'll show you that how that, but you need to run manually. So with the service file, automated it will work. Automated means if I'm just dropping a file here, it will work. So Pega will pull and it will run. But let's say if you want to process that same file manually, you can come here and I'll show you, you can run manually also. Okay, so let's proceed. So now the service package. So Ditya, as I'm saying, so service package is like a gate for any service. We need to create the service package, and service package is like a folder. So in this one, we club multiple methods or multiple what we want to do. So you can see that here we have two methods inside this one. Service type is one is a customer class. Bulk operator, and another is customer class. So this you can give anything. This is also a kind of a customer class, means it's like external things, like okay, it is denoting the external system, okay. So here we are saying a customer class or bulk operator, you can give anything, it doesn't matter. And the next thing is that method, okay. Method is basically the service file name. So here I have created that service file name, right? So you can see that bulk operator load and then bulk operator load. So I gave both the things the same, but you can give a different one as well. So here oh sorry, not this one, this one. So bulk operator load, bulk operator and bulk operator load. If I just try to save as again and show you, it asks for package, it will ask for the customer class name, okay. So you can give anything, okay. This is for a bulk operator, you can give bulk operator, but the way we do for the service things also, if you see REST or SOAP service, we give a system name, right? So you can just treat this customer class as a system name. Getting it? Hello?
Do we need to create the customer class?
No, you don't need to. Yeah, if you're thinking, then you don't need to create a class. See, I just gave.
So while creating the service file, if we give the name, that will come automatically to the service package root.
Yeah, that will come automatically. Yeah, you don't have to explicitly create the class. See, I have not created, and I'll show it will work. Okay, so you can just give anything. Got it? So it's more like a system name, like, okay, so it doesn't matter, you can give anything. If you want to give your class name also, work class name, that also fine, okay. So it doesn't matter. Now in this one, let's see, okay, so this is the service file, and this is very important, okay. So listener is fine, okay, if you're trying for the first time, somehow you'll be able to configure that. But the next important thing is that we need to process that the data which is coming, okay. So if you see in the service tab, okay, this is very easy. So we have the service page, means whenever that file will come, okay, on this page it will run. So the context page will be the my service page name. If you want to change, you can change that, not a problem, but Pega by default it gives that. Now this service page, which is of which class, okay, so that we need to give here. So depending on our functionality, we give the class. So here I'm trying to create operator ID, so I have given operator ID class, okay. You can give any class and create activity and do the job, okay. So not a problem. Now let's come to this one, method. We have processing actions, okay, execute synchronously for async and other things, or queue for agent, okay. So leave these options for now, because I don't want to confuse you guys. These options we use very less, especially with the service file, okay. It is for asynchronous. Like synchronously means that the moment we are getting a file, just process it, okay. Asynchronous means just queue it, okay, queue for execution or queue for agent. So we don't want to do that, okay. We don't want to complicate now, okay. So let's just simply go to the next step, method, okay. So here it is asking that how we want to process your file, okay. So here it's just saying record at a time, file at a time, by record time, okay. So file at a time means it will take that entire file at once, okay. The second one is record at a time. So let's say I have a CSV file, so it will read one by one, okay, record at a time. And by record time, even I have not tried, okay. So mostly I've tried file at a time and record at a time, okay. So now I'll just select record at a time. Now the next thing is that if I'll record at a time, when you want to say that this is one record is done, right? So like, because how this system will know that you are done with one row, okay? So that terminator we have given is the slash n, okay? So the moment there's a slash n means the next row. So this is how it is treated. So let me just create a CSV file or Excel file. So here I'll say employee ID, and so let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6. So now this one, okay, or this is big 1 2 3, or I'll say Lilith Ahmed, okay. So this one, so after this is one record and this is one record. So how this things Pega will recognize using slash n, getting it. Okay, so this is the terminator. Any questions on this one? So I have seen in the group and in many other places people ask this question. So it will depend totally on your functionality, but as I'm saying 90% time, like, or I would not say 90% because I don't have the data, but most of the times I have seen that people uses the CSV to process that. Okay, so in that case your slash n will work. CSV or Excel, your slash n will work, because after that you want to go to the next slide. Got it? Any questions on this one? Okay, next thing is very important. So this is what it will do. So basically it will process that. Okay, after reading each record, what you want to do that. Okay, so here you can see that we have a prologue and epilogue. Okay, so basically before processing, so this will run only once, and this will also run only once after processing. But whatever will give here, it will run for each record. Okay, it will parse that each record, okay, and then process that. Okay, so let me know if you're getting it. So this is just initial activity. Let's say you want to just, before processing, you want to do something, or you want to just do logging or something, you can use this activity. It's like a pre and post activity, and this will run in a loop. Okay, so if you see here, I have a 2 record. So this here I'll configure. I have not configured as of now. It will run 2 times. Okay, and this also we can configure that how many times you want to run. Okay, so if you just want to run once, you can select this one. Okay, so to run once, okay, let's say that header, you want to, like here I don't want to validate header, but when you are working in a real-time projects, you may need to validate your header also. Okay, because if the file is coming from some other system, okay, there could be possibility that header is wrong, or it doesn't have all the header which is required. Okay, so what you can do, okay, you can select like this, and then you can say validate header. So you can write a activity, okay, validate header. You can write activity, or you can write the same activity, and you can validate the header in that one. So basically for the first row, it will just, whatever the data it will come, that is coming as a header, and that you can do that validations of header. I won't go inside that how you want to do validations of your header. Okay, that is totally on you, how you want to do that, what all header you have, and you want to validate exactly the header should match and all those things. Okay, so I hope we have learned enough validations and other things, data transform. With that you can validate that. You need to apply your logic, and you need to validate the header. But basically what I'm trying to say, with this one it will read only once. Okay, in this one here we should not select this one if I'm doing that. Okay, because this parse rule is for different. Okay, so for this one, if to get the valid we need to say parse CSV header. Okay, so I'll show you. So if I'm doing that, okay, validate header is not there, so let's create. Okay, just create a rule and save it. Okay, or I'll just say here my service page. I'll just refer that frame. This is the service page, right? So I'll just refer that service page. I'll not do anything. I'm not writing any logic. Okay, you can go and try if you really want to learn. Otherwise you get some knowledge. Okay, and then it's up to you. Like if you want to learn, then you need to do that end to end. Okay, POC. So I'll give the class. Okay, and I'll copy the same class as well from here. Come here, so validate header. So as I'm saying, the same activity you can use, or you can write different activity also. Okay, so validate header I just gave. Okay, now close this package, close this service Okay, try to save. This is my service file. Now let me save it. So you can see that. So what it will do, it will read the first line. Okay, and that is where sometimes we need to validate the header, because there could be possibility that that file doesn't have header at all. Okay, so that is where we need to do that. Now I'll simply pass that. I'll save as that. Okay, so let's just save as that one, save as that. Okay, save as that on desktop. Okay, test file, anything you can just save, because I'm not trying to process with the listener for now. And then here we'll say CSV, comma separated, CSV desktop. Okay, and you can see that I have selected map to parse CSV. So basically Pega has a functions parse CSV header which will apply, and it will parse the first row. See, map to parse CSV headers, it's a Java functions, okay, which we don't have to think, Pega has already given. Okay, so let's do it. Let's try to run it. So as I was saying that you can run this manually also. Okay, so how you can run manually, you can simply run service file. So let's say you don't want to use listener. Okay, so if you don't want to use listener, you can directly run also. And how you can do that, you can upload a local file, okay, from desktop, or you can supply the file content. Means if you are a CSV, okay, if your file is a CSV, okay, let's say this one, you can see my screen, right? So you can do like this, open on notepad, okay, edit with notepad, and you can copy like this also. So for now we have only one. Let me add one more row. Okay, employee ID and name, just let's see. So it is looking like this. So you can copy like this also, or you can upload the file. Okay, either way you can do that. Okay, so for now I'm just supplying the file content like this. So let's see that, let's trace that and see what is happening. Okay, no, sorry. Okay, so let's see that how we can trace that. Okay, so you need to learn all those things, debugging as well. So you can trace service file from here only. In service file we have an options. Now I'll simply go and run this one. So you have that, see, you can see that we have an options to execute. So let's execute. Invalid configuration, the only program to run exactly once. Okay, so it is configure, so it is giving exceptions because we have given it how many row, 3 row. Okay, so we have not given to process more row, so that is where we are getting error. But let's see that. Okay, so I'll just add another one for now. Okay, because it is giving me, and I'll say parse delimited rule. Okay, so let's understand this as well. So what it will do, so first row it will process by this one, and then the next remaining row will be processed by this one. So here I'm saying delimited parse rule. Okay, means parse the data with a delimiter. Okay, and what kind of a delimiter? So that we are defining in this one. Okay, so this is a parse rule. Parse rule is nothing but it will parse your data and will map to clipboard. And here you can see that I have defined the delimiter is comma separated. Okay, see, so the delimiter is comma separated because this is a CSV file. If you go to notepad, the data is separated with comma. Okay, and what we are saying, if the first data it will come map to PY user identifier, the second data map to PY first name. So that is what we have saying. So depending on your business case, you need to add all those things here. Okay, what all things, and we have few other options as well, but simply I'm saying map to clipboard for now. So I'll just add it to this one. So this we added. Now let's run it. Okay, let's run and see that what is happening. Let's trace it. See, we don't have any error. Let's see that. Okay, somehow that activity didn't came. Why I closed that whole thing, or what? Okay, 1 second, sorry, I closed the whole thing. let me run, okay, and I'll summarize that, so don't worry, okay, if I'm going little fast, I'll explain that. So let's come again and try to run it. So I'll supply this the file content, and then we'll try to trace it. Let's see that I'll trace, instead of service package, I'm trying to trace our main things, because we are doing it for the same session, so not a problem. Let's just see that. Yeah, so in this time it executed. So you can see that on my service page, let's see that. See the values there, Amit Singh, okay, and this is the second data, okay. So the first one, if I'll go somewhere, we should see that the first data as well. So it's just showing that last one. Why validate header? Okay, so validate header only once. 1 second. So what we have selected in request, validate header only once, and then rest it should do on this one, okay. Then why it is like that? 1 second. So basically it will it takes the first data, and remaining data it should process by this one, okay. So I can just say that I can create one more activity, create bulk operator, create bulk operator. Simple, let's create that. So basically that will validate. You can do this both the job in this one only, not if you don't have to create two, but I just to showcase I just created that, okay. So instead of bulk operator, I'll just save as that one only, because that has already I have mapped the service page. Let me just save as this, just me check in this one. Save as this one, okay, validate. Okay, so let's check in this as well. Now come to here. Okay, so let's try to trace now again. Close this one and run it again. Okay, so this is the service package and which activity it traced, validate header, okay. But validate header, why that our last line is coming in validate header? Okay, it's process only once, and that should come employee ID. No, some issue, because in validate header this activity is running. 1 second, let me see that, because ideally the validate header should only run once, okay, once, and then for the rest of the time it should run the second one. Let's see that if you have any existing service file. Service file and custom. No, Pega doesn't have that. Ideally it should, it should just process this. Oh, I have given this one. This should be blank. Okay. Now let me try that. Okay, so it will map and then it will do that validate header and then this bulk header. Let me trace again and run it. Supply the data. Okay, so see it called both the things, okay. If you notice that this validate header calls only once. Let's see that what data we have, okay. I think we didn't clean up the page, so that is where it's coming my service page. Leave about that one, Okay, but let's see here. Here we should see Amit and Amit Singh, and here we should see Lalit and Lalit Singh. See, getting it? Let me clean up that page. Okay, then you guys will understood better. Okay, because this is getting confused. Trace. Clipboard page. Standard anal. Delete that. My service page we should have, or let me just remove that here. Invalidate header, because this is what the first it will call. I'll just say page remove. So these things you need to write the logic. Obviously here we are trying to run the same thing again and again. That is where we are seeing that issue, but ideally in real time we don't do that. But if required, yes, again obviously you need to clean up the page and all those things you need to do. Now let's run. Okay. And we'll trace it again. Okay, so let's see that. So in validate header, let's see what data we have. Still it is showing missing, I don't know. Here we should see that it says showing correct one. So for the first instance, okay, leave this one validate header for now. Okay, if you see, this ran 2 times, bulk operator activity, okay, ran 2 times, so it's running in a loop kind of. Okay, and why it is running in a loop? Because we have a 2 row. If I'll just go and add one other one, I'll show you. If I'll go and add another one here while running, okay, let's see, I'll go here and add another one, and then see that it will run 3 times. See, you can see that, right? It ran that 3 times. Create bulk operator how many times ran? 3 times. Okay, and in the last one we should see the data John Deere. So basically what I'm trying to show, okay, I'll not go and try to like show you create operator and everything. Okay, you can try, because now you have a service page and on that you have the data. So what data we are passing, whatever the data we are passing, you got the data. Now if you got the data, you can do anything. You can play with this data, right? You can create operator or whatever you want to do, but I'll tell you so that you can try. So what you can do, okay, let's say that you can say that, sir, I need other details also. Let's say to create any operator, mimic, save as that operator. When we try to save as that operator, what all details we usually need it. Okay, let's say I have this operator, okay, and if I want to do the same job automated, I'm trying to save as. Okay, so when we are saving as, what we are needing first is that operator ID. So this is mandatory, and the second thing is that admin 1 2, let's say, and the second things what we need is this one, the mandatory one while save as. Okay, we need that the first name, last name and email. Rest, let's say rest everything I want to keep the same. Okay, so what you can do in your service activity, bulk create operator, okay, here in this one, you can, after getting the data, okay, you can always open one here. I'm just showing the pseudo code, you need to write, you can try. Okay, so you can, what you can do, you can obj open by handle to any existing operator. That operator we say model operator. So here you can open model operator, okay, and you can say that model operator page, model operator page, model operator page. Okay, then after opening that, okay, obviously you need to do handling. Here what you can do on property set, you need to do property set, and you can set all the other things the way I'm trying to update. So the first thing I updated the PO user identifier, okay, that operator ID, and then next the first name, last name. So in this step what you can do, you can update PO user identifier with the data like this, PO user identifier. Okay, so this you will update it with this one, my service page dot PO user identifier. Getting it? So in this way you will update it, and then finally what you need to do, you need to save this page. Insert below, you need to save this model page, do obj save. So then what will happen, you are updating the PY user identifier, right? And PY user identifier is the key of this class, okay, data admin operator ID. So what Pega does it, that if your key already exists, okay, then Pega will update. If key doesn't exist, then it will save, create a name instance, right? So what we did here, from admin to admin 12, we updated that. Rest everything we kept the same. So Pega created a new instance. Similar way, if you from the model operator, from the file, let's say that admin 1 is already there, and from this one, if you are updating this with the Lalit, then it will, what it will do, it will create a new operator ID with Lalit, okay? But the rest everything will be the same. The rest everything means that access group, because it is like a save as, right? You are trying to opening, modeling that, okay? So try that one, okay? But this is how we need to do that, because end of the day, if you're seeing, when you are running this one, okay, we are getting the data. So each time when you are getting the data, right, this service activity is running. So now you have the data. I have just added one step, but if you added 10 step, first it will execute for one row, it will execute 10 times, okay? For the second one, it will execute 10 times, okay? And this file is also incomplete. So basically, if you want to create operator, you can have that employee ID. So, and this, what is happening, so the first row is getting mapped to PO identifier. You can ask a question that how, okay? If you see here, that PO identifier is getting mapped, okay, the employee ID is getting mapped to PO identifier. That we are doing in this rule. So this is where the parse delimited rule we have, okay? This header things is somehow not working. So here also you can have a parse delimited rule, not a problem, okay, if you want, and then validate header. So it will, but instead of this one, this you need to have a header one, okay? So that you need to configure a little different way, but for now you can ignore this one, parse CSV header, okay? I'll tell you in this class how to use these functions, because this functions is not working as expected, or maybe I need to say map to key. Let me see, I think I have forget that. I'll just say that, check that once, okay? I'll try that and show you. But for a minute, let's park this one. Let's understand. Let me revisit and explain you the whole things again. What is happening? It will take each row and it will try to process this activity. It will try to call this activity, and before calling activity, it will call this parse delimited rule. And the job of this delimited rule is to take each row, okay, and then map it to this property. So employee ID will get mapped to PO identifier, name will get mapped to first name. So let's say you are creating a CSV file of 10 row, 10 column, you need to add 10 property here, okay? And this property, like I have created this in data admin operator ID, so obviously we have all those property, okay? Let's say if you're doing for your other business, you need to create that property, or you need to see that you already have a property, okay? So those kind of decisions you need to take by yourself. Getting it? Any questions on this one? Hello? Hello?
Presently, no, sir.
Come again, Srinivas?
As of now, no, sir.
Okay, cool. Okay, so then each row will call on this, for each row this rule will call, it will map the data, and then where it will map, so it will map on the service page dot PO identifier, this is my service page dot PO first name, okay? Now on service page you got the data, and each time it will call this activity as well, create bulk operator. Now you have the service page, you have all the data, okay? Whatever you want to do it, done, okay? No issues. Obviously you need to handle exception handling and other things, okay? If you want to notify that after processing, you can do that. So basically if you want to notify for each one, you can do in this activity. If you want to do logging, whatever way you, whatever work you want, you can do in this one, okay? So done. Now let's just try one more time. That header things was not working, so I have mapped to key. Let me see if it will work. So I'll just trace again, trace, and let me run it. Execute. And py label, it's why it's not mapping. Ideally should map to, you need to see that functions, that what that functions does. I've used that in past, but this is not stopping you. You can ignore that header validations, okay? and try to, like as I'm saying, right, I have sold the concept, but what I want you guys to do it in the same way, and you do end to end. Okay, model that operator and create that operator. Now you can ask me that I don't know that one, then I'll not help in that one. You need to go and see that how to use activity, how to open any operator or any instance in Pega. Okay, how to update the property, how to save, while saving, how to do the exception handling. All those things we have learned. Okay, so it is parsing, validate parse CSV header. Somehow it is not doing. Okay, but if you want you can create that header like a CSV file for this one as well, but for now you just ignore it. Okay, validate header is not something which is stopping you. Okay, so but in this way, the way I have done it with this one, at least you do it like this. So what is happening, that this is not a stopping, but this is not taking as a valid data. So the first one is going as a header, which is good. So basically with this combination, with these settings, it is ignoring the first row, and it is your actual data is processing from the second row, so which is good, not a problem. You can ignore this activity also and simply say parse header, parse CSV header. Okay, not a problem. Okay, but from your actual data will start from the second row, and then first row you are saying as a header, and then second row is actual data, and on that data you can play anything, you can do anything. So we'll learn the service file as well. Now let's see that, okay, if our listener is running or not. Okay, so let's close all those things. So what I'll be doing, okay, I'll be deleting and show you end to end. Okay, I'll log that. Okay, just to show you that my things is working. Log message, my service page, I'll say that data from file listener, and I'll say my service page dot I can copy that py user identifier, because on this only we're getting the data, plus I'm just logging. I'm not processing the whole things, but I'm showing end to end that how it will work. Okay, you need to try. So this is my service page dot py. Okay, so done. Let's check in that one. So whatever the data will pass, it will log that many times. Okay, from the listener. So now you need to make sure that everything is checked in. Okay, if you're running from listener, because that is like outside you're running. This is also done. This is also, let me check in, and then this check-in is not required. Okay, but we need to make sure this listener is running. Okay, and where we can see that, so that earlier we used to see in SMA, now in admin studio. So you need to navigate it to admin studio to see if it is running, where we'll see in resources, we'll see listener. So here you can see that our listener is not running. I had created it earlier, so we have an options. If it is already running, you can stop or you can terminate. We have an options. Now I want to run another one, start a new instance, and which one, our listener is bulk create operator. I'll say that apply, so it will start. So you can see that my listener started running. You can see that bulk operator. Now the moment I'll place any file, it will get processed immediately. See, bulk operator load, I think I have placed that file and it got processed. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, so I'll just place the file. It will process very fast. So you can see this folder, right? So I'll drag, just a second, I'll take that file test from here to here so that I can drag in front of you. So whatever the way we are doing here, right, manually, now it will be automated. So I'll simply take this test file and drag in this one. I think it is open because of that. Let me just save, close the file. Now I'll quickly, I think I dragged and it got deleted as well. No, let me see here. See, let's keep refreshing and see it gone, right? So it gone means it got processed. It's not that gone means it didn't happen anything. Okay, so let's see that log now. So we'll go to Dev Studio, we'll see our log. Log. I'll remove the admin conditions, though it should be with the context of admin. Let's see that if we got a processing happened or not. No, somehow it got processed, but let's see that my service that data is not showing. Did we got any error or anything? So we can trace as well. Okay, so we can enable that. Okay, so here we have given requester is admin, password is rules, fine, and bulk operator. So this we can try to trace that why that log things didn't happen, or maybe it didn't happen because it is info. I'll just make it error. Okay, because maybe info is not enabled. I'll just make it log level error, and you can trace as well. So how we can trace, I'll show you. So you just need to, the way we do tracing for service file, so I'll come to that service rule, say like this, and save this one. Okay, so this is it got deleted, so I'll just save as test desktop. Okay, so it is saying already exists. Now again I'll drop this one. Okay, so just keep watching. Okay, I'll drop, and it will get consumed very quickly. See, it got consumed, and see at the same time tracer also ran. Now if you see whatever with the data we passed, okay, it's coming the same data. If I'll update that one, let's see that we can see the updated data as well. So if I'll come and say that what should I say, 1 2 3 4 5, and then name is ABC, something like that, ABC. The second time 4 5 6 7, something like that, and XYZ. So this is the value we are giving. Let's just save it. Okay, so again we got a file. Okay, we kept our tracer open. Let's drop the file again. It will consume. No, it's not consuming. Yeah, see, it got. So it takes some time, 60 seconds. I have showed you right that 60 seconds it takes, and see we have only two data, so it just executed 2 times, and then see the value of this one is here. Any questions on this one? And now this is the part which was left. So this is basically a reporting. Okay, completed. So here if you have some error, we'll get that error thing. So in this report it is empty because we don't have error or anything, but Pega creates that, and the folder name and other things that comes from here only. See this one, in error somewhere we have that options to create. Okay, and if you have error, then if you want to just clean up the file or you want to keep that file, so let's say you have an error, so we have a features to delete the file or just rename it. Will extension add.error, and it will keep your file. Okay, so those things, few error like error handling things is also there. So any questions? Did we got it or we didn't got it at all?
So it must be queuing to SQL table, right?
No, it doesn't queue. Why it will queue? It will just listens the file, and at that same time it is processing. So it's asynchronous. Sorry, synchronous. Okay, I told you right. So if you go to this bulk operator, let's load. Okay, it's asynchronous. The moment it's reached the file, at that time it is processing. See, it doesn't queue to anything. If you are changing, then yes, it will queue, but it is just processing real time. The moment you are putting the file, it will process. After that, so the moment you're processing, and then on the next run, so what is the next run means that your listener is running or pulling, keep going and checking that is there any file. Okay, so what is the frequency? It is checking after each 30 seconds. Okay, sorry, 60 seconds. On the next 60 seconds, it will pull that file and it will process that. Getting it?
SLA is not required.
No. SL is not required at all. No.
Okay.
Why are you thinking SLA? Because there is no connections with SLA. You are just putting a file. It's like a service only. Okay. The way you're calling REST service, right? So what you do on demand, you call the REST service whenever you need it. Here also it's the same thing. The moment you want the data, you just put the data. But here we are putting the data manually. But in real time, that like most of the times we put manually also, and in like, or another system can also come and put the data in this one, right? Let's say that there is another system which writes the file in this one. So that is also we do.
No, I was just trying to link this thing with agents. Like agents
No, you don't have to. Don't link with the agent. Agent is different. Agent is processing on Pega data. Okay, and agent is not a service. This is like a service. Data is coming from external system. Okay, external system means external entity. Like it could be system, it could be file system. Like see, if this folder we have given our local only, but just assume that this folder is map to Pega, like it is accessible from the Pega, okay, but it is external folder, nowhere relations to Pega. Like this folder is nowhere related to Pega, right? This though it is I have created in personal edition, but this folder is nowhere. Okay, so it's like a file integration. Okay, you are placing file, okay, and then we are taking the data from that file. Hello.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so no relations with agent, no relations with SLA. And this I showed you to create operator, but as I explained in the beginning, okay, that this file could be for that case, like you have, let's say, tons of cases and you want to process that, you want to send notifications, you want to create a new case, let's say for the same data, okay, you want to create a new case, and then you want to, the way we are creating case from the DX API, same way you can do it here as well. Okay, so it's all depends like what you want to do it. Okay, but the process is same. You need to create the listener in same way, and then you need to create a service file, and you can, at least for now, don't think about the other type of file record, like just use this one only, CSV, and use delimiter. Okay, so that you'll get it first. Okay, and as I'm saying, most of the times you'll get a requirement like this only. Okay, and this is very much easy, and that is where what we do when anyone I will ask this kind of requirement, developer only says that okay, give me the data in CSV. Okay, because I can process in a easy way. Any other questions from anyone? Okay then, okay, if we don't have any questions, then we can close the class and I'll share the recording. I want you guys to try, okay, and see that till what point you are able to reach that, because today or tomorrow, I mean, like most of the projects uses this kind of feature, and as I'm saying, right, if you're not creating listener, at least you'll be creating the service file, because like as I'm saying, right, that you can directly run also in non-prod, also leave about productions, in non-prod also, let's say you have to create 100 like this operator or something, we create this kind of a things, okay, and do it. And in productions also, you can say that okay, if I'm not creating a listener, how we use that. So in productions, what we do in with the help of support team, right, we prepare the file and say that okay, run this rule and just supply this file. So that is how also we use that. Okay, but we need it, most of the projects uses that, so you need to learn that. Yeah, yeah, please try that. Okay, I'll share the recording. Yeah, okay, then we'll meet tomorrow.
So
Thanks, bye.